Hello, everybody. Earlier this year came Land to Moongo and Devil Dinosaur, one of my favorite recent show of the past few years. And seeing as how season 2 is complete, I'm going to do the top 12 Moongo Devil Dinosaur episode for season 2. It's time for Moongo Magic.
Number 12. A Devilish Birthday. No matter how you feel about birthdays, there's an aspect that's usually looked forward to the most. The kiss! From big to small, most desired to least desired, the surprise of what you may have gotten usually gets people to think that gifts are the best part of a birthday. Unless that cake is cheesecake, I tend to agree. And the Devilish Birthday further explores the idea. Using Lunella's cloning patch, Devil Dinosaur manages to experience the wonders of two cakes, but things quickly go south when the cloning patch extra Devil Dino go haywire. I like that this explores the viewpoint of Devil Dinosaur, a red reptile who yes has been in Lower East Side of New York City for a long while, but that doesn't mean he's figured out everything. This episode perfectly represents that. It manages to portray this childlike innocence of Devil Dinosaur. I also like that the action buddies Confidential, Lunella, and even Casey still stuck by him even with the blunder that Devil Dinosaur did. I especially adore the sequence of them getting all the Devil Dinosaur clones and how visually it is mutated and otherworldly the colors are, which truly helps show how much of a chaotic gremlins the Devil Dinosaur clones really are. This is an episode I would clone myself and give it a watch more than once. Just don't give my clones sugar. Number 11. Rider Dog. Lunella's dad I already enjoyed quite a bit, so an entire episode around him is practically a no-brainer. In fact, I'm surprised they didn't do this earlier. Not only does this episode sour us with great moments between Lunella and her dad, they also managed to squeeze out many comedic potentials with such a funny character like James. But on top of that, the bond between Lunella and her dad is endearing and heartwarming. No matter what, the glue to their connection never dries up. What else can I say except what a dad-tastic James Spotlight episode. Number 10. Roller Jam. Okay, I'll just get it out of the way. There's a recognizable pose from a certain blue hedgehog. Look, he did the thing! There, done. Now let's talk about the actual episode. Former best friend and skate partner Verno threatens Pops to ruin Roller Jam, and naturally, Lunella needs to settle their beef. Okay, so while the concept of friend-to-enemy rivalry isn't exactly new, in fact, you'll actually see this done again later down the list, it still manages to stand on its own with how it chooses to do things. For example, there isn't inherently someone who's necessarily better than the other. In fact, it's actually more about not holding on to a friendship grudge for so long, since doing so can not only damage the two parties, but also those around them. Which admittedly is actually a really great lesson that needs to be said a lot more. That's already on top of a very funny, narcissistic villain. Let the good times roll for an episode like this. Number 9, Belly of the Beast. Does anybody remember the Magical School Bus? That one is so with the team that came second right before Arthur. And you remember how there was an entire episode about exploring the human body?
Well, what if this was also done for a dinosaur? A devil dinosaur, if you will.
While this episode does explore an interesting biology of Devil Dinosaur, apparently Devil Dinosaur has a similar amount of stomachs to a cow. This is much more about a disagreement conflict between Lunella and Casey. I actually think the conflict is a bit on the weaker side compared to something like Roller Jam, but what makes this one better than Roller Jam is the episode being carried by the pure creativity of Devil Dinosaur's biology. Visually, it is absolutely stunning, looking like a much more colorful and twisted version of the planet you see in the Metro game. But another thing that especially helps this episode is Devil Dinosaur's absolute savagery. This episode absolutely doesn't give him a break, and it is funny, really funny. Plus, like I said, while I found the conflict weaker, that doesn't mean it didn't entirely good. This is one trip I wouldn't mind doing again. Number 8. The Devil That You Know. Through a disagreement, Devil Dino splits path away from Lunella but gets mixed up with a rowdy group of ex-superhero sidekicks. The idea of a bunch of disgruntled superhero pets joining up together in a team is already a pretty funny idea, and it definitely helps that the action buddies confidential themselves are especially funny characters. But the fact that throughout the not so good deeds of the action buddies confidential, Devil Dinosaur is always the one to pick up the slack of doing good. It's funny but also sweet, showing how much more of an impact Lunella really had on him ever since the beginning of the show. It really says so much in no words at all, and I love that. Poor Tooth Nasser. Number 7. To Intervention and Beyond. It's about time I got to a Beyonder episode on this list. Mungo and Beyonder are having a friendship intervention held from Devil Girl due to emotional frustrations between Mungo and the Beyonder. If you didn't think Mungo and Beyonder's interactions before were that of an old married couple, then oh boy, is this episode going to change your mind. And man, do they ever take advantage of that. I absolutely love the way Devil Girl is written to absolutely not give a flying fuck whatsoever. I also love how Moon Dinosaur is still also precious, but now he's even more precious with the devil. Some may wonder why I put this over Roller Jam despite having the same message. Well, it's actually really simple. Not only do I think this episode is funnier, but I also think the theme of falling apart friendship is handled better.
This is one intervention I need right after this one. I need to stop playing.
Number 6. Dog Day Mid-Afternoon. An alien plus dog combo sounds like something out of Silent Hill, doesn't it? Well, anyway, this is another fun one that goes absolutely nuts with the dog themes. From Pops, Lunella, and Casey getting giddy over dogs, to them even using a dog pun counter for every dog pun, like 2010, that guy with the glasses reviewer. You gotta love the hustle.
Not worth it.
On that note, yes, Franklin is played by David Tennant. They even made a reference to Doctor Who. That aside, David did an absolutely wonderful performance. This is quite the ultimate dog episode. Number 5, Ride or Die.
Skate or die, skate or die, skate or die, 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 die.
A solo Moongo episode where Devil Dinosaur is in company?
Wow.
Well, anyway, what I like about this one is that it's more so about the dilemma of villains. What if they weren't so black and white? What if they wanted to redeem themselves? and this is shown through Zekia, who has a fun, quick whip alter ego, but this episode manages to flesh her out, and like I said earlier, make her more than just the black and white villainess. It makes the moment where Moongo and Quick Whip team up all the more satisfying.
Forgiveness is divine, but never pay full price for late pizza.
Number 4, Moongo Grounded. This episode asks the question of what if Moongo couldn't be Moongo, while also displaying what it's like to slowly drift apart from a parent, and it does so in a very dignified, thorough, and honest way. To the point where after Lunella disobeys Adria to save her friends, Adria actually doesn't naturally forgive Lunella. In fact, she actually becomes more cold and distant. And it's actually really refreshing that a drift like this is even addressed at all. To put it simply, I was blown away. Number 3, Restore. You know, fads and trends are weird. Only some of them are interesting while the rest aren't. And this episode delves into that. How they can always be 2 steps forward and how trying to keep up can only result in complete disaster. All while still managing to maintain a lot of laughs. Trend this, trend that, sweats the episode. Number 2, Full Moon. This is a really great Adria and Lunella combo episode, as it shows another part that's not often shown, trying to patch things up between a child and a parent. This episode manages to show how that's ultimately not easy to do, with a lot of ups and downs. But by far my favorite thing is Adria's development. Adria seeing how her worry for Lunella ultimately hurt more than it did protect. It's honestly a really sweet and earnest moment, made even better when Adria hands Lunella her CD player, which I wish got more use in later episodes, but that's besides the point. This episode really contains the beauty of a whole full moon. And the number 1 episode is The Gatekeeper. Despite being banned, it can only be watched, but it can also have a really big effort that no other Moongo episode has, and that is an affirmation for the trans community. how it's okay to be trans and let nobody get to you for it. And that ultimately, at the end of the day, it's okay to be you. Sadly, again though, it hasn't and will probably never have an official release, hence the time-coded property of Disney television animation on top. With the rise of trans representation and even LGBTQ representation as a whole, this really should be more available to the public. But until that day actually comes, I highly recommend you look for the leaked episode any way you can.
And there you have it. Are there any other episodes worth mentioning? Well, bring them up in the comments below. And have a Merry fucking Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Happy holidays. Wee.